Tomorrow, the 2025 A-level grade boundaries will be released. Before that happens, let's take a look at the past years of boundaries to see what they can tell us and what they can't tell us. But what might happen this year? Grade boundaries are the minimum marks you need to achieve a particular grade. For A-level chemistry, your final comes from your overall raw mark to 300, spread across 3 exam papers. Remember that the boundaries, they change keep year to keep the result fair, and they are set after the exam. So harder paper often means lower boundaries, and easier paper means higher ones. Let's have a look at these two sets of data. One shows the raw total marks and the other one the percentage. For ease of comparison, I'm going to use the percentage one. For an A star, EDEXCEL usually sits slightly lower than OCR, but still pretty high. In fact, we have in the kind of mid 80, depending on, of course, on the difficulty of the paper. The lowest was 2022, but again, this was post-pandemic, so probably reflecting the adjustments. An A typically sits between 65 and 72%, whilst a B around the 50 up to like 60%. So there is a relatively steady pattern here with only a small year-to-year fluctuation, but 2022 again saw slightly lower threshold. For C grades, you're generally looking at mid to high 40s, D grade in the low to mid 30s, and as you can see, E to the low 30s. So compared to the other exam boards, EDEXCEL's lower grade boundaries are fairly consistent. So what this means for 2025, if this year's paper felt tougher than usual, expected the boundaries to move slightly down, like we have seen in 2023, for example. For students aiming for an A stars or an A, remember that you have a bit more generous boundaries compared to OCR. With we sit at around 84%. Remember, OCR was 90% for an A star. Anyway, I'll be breaking down the official grade boundaries as soon as they're out tomorrow, alongside with the other exam boards. So subscribe if you want the full picture before results day.